Well, in anticipation of the holiday season, I ordered a live nativity set. Unfortunately, the only thing that showed up was the cow. So I guess we'll have to put that away after a while, because it's unhandy having it running around here. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Rusty Oliver, man. 24T Baler. It's been sitting nicely here in the shed in anticipation of finishing this project, which includes but not limited to this little wheel. So if you recall in previous episodes, actually let's just use that phrase for some different sentence. But if you recall in many previous episodes ago, I explained that when you want to paint something and you don't want to deflate the tire, if you put grease on it, you can, get right up to it. So that's what I did here. So I really ought to take a minute here and wipe the grease off so that the tire is the right color. And then we can work on making this one with our baler. Sometimes you might have to use a little brake clean to help get, depending on how particular you are. I'm really not that particular because I know when we run it through a hay field, the grass will probably take care of this job for me the rest of the way. But it was a nice thought, You can also take something and scrape it a little bit and it'll pop right off where you... Apparently there I got some grease on the rim because it popped right off. But that's fine. It's got paint on it underneath. It's just not yellow paint. All right, I'd say that's probably good enough. I'm sure you like staring right into the sun, but I should have probably put a little more clean to get the stickiness off. See, that side I did the other day. It's less sticky, but I see I've already wore off my paint job there. So I don't know which side I want out, But I hear Buddy found the rest of the nativity set. He's chasing them. That's fine. All right, so if you recall, this came as a kit. And they didn't have all the pieces, so then they sell just the arm. So I bought just the arm, which proves out to be cheaper because they wanted like $160 for this wheel that they didn't have. And I went to the Supply Tractor store, I think is where I got this one, and got her going good, except for one thing. These bearings, they don't do that thing. So a quick trip down Internet Lane to the electronic bay, and I was able to secure a baggie of 4. Which apparently now are not coming out for anything. There we go. These are standard dimension bearings, I guess, 1 3/8 outer diameter, and then this is 3/4 here. So all I got to do now is, in theory, tap that right in there, see? And it's going to just make my life so good, see? And then we're going to have to get some bushings on there, see? Because I'm sure the spacing won't be right. So perhaps maybe for this part we should take this to the service truck, because that's where all the rest of our stuff is. Plus that'll give me a chance to get totally covered with grease. See, you know what's better than a service truck? A service plow. This is a nice work surface, plus the fact I don't own it anymore, so if we ruin it, what's it to me? But I sold it to my cousin. So I actually sold more to him, but this is what he's paid for, so I can safely say that this is his right now. When he hopefully in the next few days comes up with the rest of it, he will have a matching tractor to go with it. But we shall see. All right, that's probably going to end up to be the backside because it looks like crap. However, when I put this on there, look how much extra I have. I'm guessing what they did was they provided enough room that you could actually use a rubber tire. But in our application, we're not going to need that much space. However, it would look stupid to have it out all the way, wouldn't it? Like that. So I'm thinking a generous amount of spacers on the back side, plus a few on the front, will be just the ticket we need. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, how is it possible that just any idiot can get a show on the internet? Well, yeah, but that's not what I'm getting at right now. You're thinking, why didn't you just saw that shaft off, you know? And then you wouldn't have to deal with spacers and, you know, that kind of thing. I'm not entirely sure that that's what I want yet. I may decide I want a pneumatic tire later on, you know. And had I not been a total dum-dum, I would have got the hardware out first, because as it turns out, they provided some bushings, and then I wouldn't have had to cobble that up quite as bad. But that's okay. We're about that in a minute. For now, we're going to try to bolt this on here. And whenever oh, it even came with the right size cotter pin. It's almost like, you know, they were a good company and they were thinking. They knew that morons like me would not be doing the thing right. So here in a minute, we're going to totally start over from where we were, because, yeah. All right. Now, the next thing, how deep is too deep? Well, it depends on who you ask and what her name is. But in this case, I'm thinking, do I want to stick the bolts through from the inside like such, and have the other stuff on the outside, or not? I kind of like the, I don't know, the ease of being able to, I don't know, that's kind of what they did everywhere else on this thing, so why wouldn't I follow pattern? That's what I'm getting at. Yeah, we're struggling, okay? Don't let the camera fool you. We are actually struggling here. See, it's not an even surface we're working on, because what's taking place is this piece of metal doesn't extend all the way back, so we're actually just sandwiching it between the two. But I'm thinking that's kind of what I want. If I put this down, you know, it's just going to provide that little bit of extra if it gets in a low place. That's what I'm doing. I don't necessarily intend for it to even run all the time. I just want that little bit of extra where it hits that wheel instead of just hammering on the ground, like the pickup or all those bands that we just worked on. Yeah, what are the chances that's gonna stay tight? So it's very likely that we will end up losing this wheel at some point. All right. Well, it's on there. It sticks out quite a bit. Not really too bad though. I think it's acceptable. And I don't think I'm going to, I'm just going to put these in the Baler toolbox. Okay? Then when we lose the wheel in the field, if we can find it back, we got the stuff to fix it. But right there, I think that's going to do what I want. You know, it's going to catch the barn every time I back it in, and I'll end up ripping it all apart. But I think it's going to just help it on uneven terrain, or like when you're baling through ditches, it'll kind of help take some of the shock out of the everything else hitting the ground and bottoming out. That's what I'm after. I wish that this was a little more straight, but short of taking it off of there, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that, because it's impossible to get in there and get it bent the way it needs to. It was messed up pretty bad back when I started several years ago and dug this out of the shed. It got kind of mangled at some point in its life, and it's kind of rotted out there. That probably needs pulled back and welded. But this is also where I wouldn't mind to find some way to make me a bracket bolt on here, where a guy could get one of those wheels like off a round baler that would help just rake the hay into the pickup. Because this little baler, a lot of people nowadays, they want a huge windrow, and it's just not made for that. And if it doesn't, the outer edge, it'll always want to leave a strip. It like rolls over the edge and keeps trailing behind, and leaves almost another little windrow behind in certain conditions. Not all the time, but some of the time. And that's not, I want perfection 100% of the time, which just doesn't always work out. But no, I think that's probably good enough for who she's for. Bolts right on there. Wasn't that expensive in the grand scheme of things. I think that bracket and the wheel together now were under $100, since I got them from 2 different places, plus it came with all the hardware to do it. So will that make a big difference in its performance? I don't know. And basically, I guess that is now the farthest out point on this side, just barely, but we can live with that. So what's left on the old girl here? Well, a good cleaning and a good putting it away, maybe. These extra 2 bearings, I think they're going to go in the baler box too, you know, because this is what they're for. Those will probably inevitably go out because they were made in Chinesia. But I think I've pretty well done everything that I set out to do for it this year. Short of maybe we will go back later and this winter, when I've got nothing to do, I'll pull off all the rest of those bands and put in new hardware so that it's all matching hardware, and then I can tweak the ones that are up a little bit proud, you know, like this one that needs a little bit of reshaping to make that not that way. But I looked, and I think it's still got every tooth, so there's really nothing else to really worry about there. I mean, that's the only other reason why I would consider taking those bands off, is to maybe you know, get in there and clean that all up, make sure it's good to go. The inside still got some yellow paint on it in places, but it's just like the Olivers. The lighter color paint is always the first to go. So on an Oliver, the white paint disappears first, and on these, yellow paint disappears first. But we got a nice thick coating on the new bands we put on, and they blend right in, you know. So that's pretty snazzy, you know. I'm glad I sought out originals instead of seeking out modern replacements, because I don't think I would have liked those as well. I think these are actually probably stronger because of the raised rib. Actually makes it harder to bend. So that's a plus. But yeah, I mean, another good reason to pull this all apart would be to do stuff like this. Unbind strings, unburden by what has been these strings, because that happens every so often. You rebale a bale that, you know, somebody threw to the side or whatever, and then you end up with a string that gets wrapped around. Maybe I got it. Very unusual. See, there's one that's been in there. That's probably been in there since Grandpa's time, you know. You would think they would rot out of here, but they just don't. They seem to stay in there forever. So yeah, I think we're down now to just a good cleaning. And then we're going to put her away for the winter for keeps and just say, we've done all we can do for you. That's kind of the same thing they said when I graduated high school. They pretty well just said, just go. So that's, I think, what we're going to do here is just go. So we won't be able to do anything more with it till next year whenever we try to bale something with it. And then inevitably find out we had the timing all screwed up and then put some needles in it or whatever. But I don't think we will, but you just never know. The only other project we have that we could do at some point, and I still haven't gathered the stuff. I got the two pieces together, dug out, you know, so they're in the same physical location now. But I want to try to put that original shield back on there better than this. So it bolts to that piece sticking out, and then it bolts to the tube, that bolt sticking through that yoke. I ended up taking it off when I broke that yoke one year baling. So if I can figure out how to make those two pieces become one again, I will do that. It was not together for years and years. The front piece was on there, and then Grandpa had bolted something to this, and it just stuck out, and that other piece just laid on top of it. So you didn't even have the shield over the part that's the most dangerous, which is where the two pieces meet, you know, in the square part. So but then, like I said, that cast yoke thing broke one time when I was baling straw, and I had to take that shield off to get that off of there, and then I just never put it on because it was clanging and banging all the time, rattling and stuff, and I had enough. Yeah. So anyway, that's on the list. This bolt's on the list. I forgot about that. We were one bolt short when I put that shield on, so we'll put that back on. But otherwise, I would say that it's in about the best shape that it's been in for a long time. And that makes me smile, because there's at least one piece of equipment here that should be ready to go next time we want to use it. Now we just have to do that to everything else I own. So hopefully we can make that happen this winter, and we can accomplish some things, because wouldn't it be nice to actually accomplish something? So I suppose we will call this one here. I don't know that this was really interesting or very much long of a video, but it was something that I wanted to do and get over with, and I've been working on it a little each day, and there she goes. So hopefully, you know, this is all a success. We're going to put it away in the shed as a success, but I'm sure life will kick us in the Knutson next time we use it, just because. But until then, we're just going to go ahead and leave this one here. All right. It's many days later, and I could not just let this be like it is. It bothers me to have tons and tons of bushings to space that wheel. So I just happen to be in town. Well, it's Buddy the dog. He's not interested in what we're doing, but whatever. Anyway, I found these shaft collars, nice and thick. And so I'm thinking of replacing a good chunk of these bushings with a couple shaft collars. And then that, hopefully, will make it just that much more better, you know? See, I don't like that. I know it came with some, but I'm thinking, like, I'm having trouble getting this all regulated. But see, I didn't have even the right, I didn't have the right size of bushings, that many of them. So that's gonna take care of a lot of that issue right there. Ooh, the paint though, that paint's gonna cause me. All right, we'll pretend you didn't see that part. We'll probably just edit that out. The part where I beat it unmercifully. What if I put that on? Is one enough? Well, it really, I don't remember what I had. Oh yes, I like that much more better. That eliminated all of them except for one. And I might not even need that one. There we go. Look at that. Beautiful. All right. So, I like that more better. It gives it a more finished look. And it almost looks like it's supposed to be that way, you know. So we are going to call this one here. Now I have a whole bunch of bushings I can put back in my bushing assortment. But that was like $7, I think. And I'm happy with that. That was $7 well spent. And yeah. Now the only thing that's left is just to clean her up good, get some of the grime off of it, and then cover her up for the winter in here, because the birds will do their thing on it if I don't. But I'm excited now. I mean, next time we get to try it, it hopefully should be a lot better than it was the last time we used it. So that's always a good thing. As always, if you enjoy my videos, give them a thumbs up. That helps out the channel and it doesn't cost you anything. Leave a comment. Tell me that you liked it or tell me that you hated it. Tell me I'm a moron. I really don't care, but anything that you say helps us out too. So thank you again, as always, for watching, and I will see you in the next one.